When I was a kid, I got into a fight with someone I thought was my friend. To be honest, I haven't shared this story with many people in person. And now that I've written it down, it sounds pretty crazy. When I was a kid, I had a friend named Boo. I gave him this nickname because he was really skinny and you could kind of see through him. Boo and I were inseparable when I was little. We did everything together and even hung out with my family. What made Boo really cool was that he could change his shape. He could shrink down to my size or grow up to be as big as my dad. He had some amazing abilities too. He could walk right through walls and even fly around with wings on his back. A week or two before I turned 4, Boo suggested we play in the front yard, like we usually did. But then he said something that surprised me. He said we'd been friends for a long time, and now he wanted me to meet his family. He told me he had already told his mom, dad, and siblings all about me, and they were really looking forward to meeting me too. He said they were planning a big party just for me, with all my favorite treats, cakes, and candies galore. I was beyond excited at the thought of it. So I asked Boo where his family lived, and he said they lived in a different world, but he reassured me it was easy to get to. I was worried because I didn't have wings like Boo, but he said we didn't need to fly. He told me to just follow him away from my house and down the street. He wanted me to go into a small group of trees that was nearby. He made it sound simple, so I agreed to follow him. I started to feel a bit scared about getting in trouble, so I told Boo that my mommy and daddy don't allow me to leave the yard. But Boo said it's okay because they're not here right now, so they won't even know we left. I knew dad was inside watching TV and mom was at the store, but I was still unsure. Boo reminded me that we're best friends and that I should trust him. Then he gently took my arm and started leading me out of the yard. He had already opened the gate for me because I didn't know how to do it myself. When we reached the street corner, I stopped dead in my tracks. I was hit with a wave of fear that felt overwhelming. Boo asked me why I stopped, and I told him I was scared. I had never been that far from home without my mom and dad before. He told me not to worry. So we were almost there. But then his grip on my arm got really tight, and he started pulling me really hard. I told him he was hurting me and to let go. But Boo just told me to be quiet in a weird, flat voice that didn't sound like him at all. I finally made it back home, sat down on the porch, and burst into tears. I was heartbroken because Boo, my best friend, had been so mean to me. I didn't understand why he had treated me that way. A few minutes later, my mom came home from the grocery store and asked me what was wrong. I told her everything that had happened with Boo. She looked back and saw that the gate was still open, and reminded me that I'm not allowed to go outside without her or dad. She was also upset with dad because he hadn't been keeping a close eye on me. That wasn't the last time I saw Boo, but he was never the same again. He kept being mean to me, and I didn't understand why. One day, I realized that friends don't treat each other that way. So I told Boo that we weren't friends anymore. I told him to leave and never come back, and I never saw him again. Years later, my mom told me how scared she was when I told her what happened. She said that when she got home from the store that day, the gate was open, and she knew I was too little to open it by myself. She was really worried about me.
Story 2.
Am I wrong for giving someone something that was given to me? Even though the person and I aren't friends anymore, is it wrong to pass on something that was given to me, even if the person who gave it to me and I aren't friends anymore? Hi everyone. I'm new to sharing my story here, and I'm a bit nervous about what you might say. But I'm going to share it anyway because it's been on my mind, and surprisingly, it makes me laugh now. I'll try to keep it brief and to the point, so here goes. So, I've known my coworker Steph for about a year now. We actually worked together at our old job before moving to our current job. She's the one who helped me get hired at our current company, and at the time, she was like a best friend to me. We were really close. To make a long story short, Steph suddenly stopped talking to me last year without any explanation. We're still coworkers, but we haven't spoken since. I still don't know why she cut me off. Anyway, when we were friends, she gave me her old keyboard when she got a new one. It was a white keyboard that lights up when you type. I've been using Steph's old keyboard for over a year, since I started working with her. Recently, my boyfriend gave me his old keyboard, which he barely used, and I really like it because it matches my black desk. So, I decided to bring it to work and replace the old keyboard Steph gave me. At work, I have a close friend who always greets me with a hug every morning. We've become really good friends since meeting here. My close friend noticed my new keyboard and commented on it. She's always admired the white keyboard Steph gave me and had even considered buying one online. When she mentioned my new keyboard, I offered her the white one, saying she could have it. Keep in mind that Steph sits right across from me in our shared cubicle, so she overheard our entire conversation. Anyway, I gave the white keyboard to my friend, and she was really thankful. It made her day, which made me happy too, since she'd been wanting that keyboard for a while. A few minutes later, Steph came over to the desk where we keep forms and started looking through them. Then, she asked me, "Oh, you got a new keyboard," even though she already knew the answer. My friend and I had been talking about it pretty loudly just a few minutes before, right in front of her. We weren't trying to be overheard. That's just how we normally talk to each other. I told Steph, "Yeah, my boyfriend Brandon gave me his old keyboard to match my desk then." Out of the blue, Steph asked, "Can I have my old keyboard back?" I was confused. So I turned to her and said, "Oh, I already gave it to Tiffany." Steph replied, "I want it back so I can sell it or something." I couldn't believe what I was hearing, so I gave her a weird look, and she said, "I'm serious." I was thinking, "Really, Steph?" But I just said, "Okay, I'll try to get it back for you later." Steph muttered under her breath, "I'll just go get it," as she walked into the room where my friend was sitting with the keyboard. Our rooms are really close, so I could hear everything they said. Steph had the nerve to approach my friend and ask, "Hey, can I have my keyboard back?" My friend, and being super sweet and friendly, replied, "Oh yeah, of course." But Steph was being really serious and slightly mean about it, which was pretty funny. But honestly, I was shocked by Steph's nerve. She couldn't stand seeing someone happy right in front of her, even though she had no intention of selling her old $30 keyboard. It was laughable. My friend and I couldn't help but burst out laughing because we know exactly what Steph is like. And my friend, who I won't name because I care about her so much, is genuinely one of the sweetest, most down-to-earth people in our office and in my life. Unfortunately, Steph is the complete opposite of my sweet friend. She's always been bitter, jealous, insecure, rude, and ignorant. It took me a while to realize this because I try to see the good in people. Maybe I'll write about that experience in another post if you're interested. But what's really embarrassing is that we're both grown women in our 20s acting like this. So guys, was I in the wrong here? Or was Steph just being petty for no reason?